The power of habit doesn't hit you all at once. It sneaks up on you quietly, like background music you didn't notice was playing until it suddenly stops. Most people think change comes from big moments, massive decisions, or overnight breakthroughs. But real life doesn't work like that. Real life is built on the stuff you do when nobody's watching. The tiny choices you repeat day after day, the patterns that slowly turn into your identity. Habits are the invisible force steering your life, whether you're aware of them or not. And once you understand that truth, everything changes. Every single person alive runs on habits. You wake up and reach for your phone without thinking. You brush your teeth the same way every morning. You react to stress the same way you always have. You eat, talk, think, and even doubt yourself on autopilot. That's not weakness, that's human nature. Your brain is designed to save energy, and habits are shortcuts that let it do just that. The scary part isn't that habits exist. It's that most people never choose them consciously. They just let them happen, and then wonder why life feels stuck on repeat. Think about how many dreams die quietly because of habits nobody ever questions. Someone wants to be successful, but keeps hitting snooze every morning. Someone wants confidence, but keeps talking down to themselves in their own head. Someone wants freedom, but keeps scrolling instead of building. None of these people are lazy or broken. They're just loyal to habits that no longer serve them. The truth is brutal but freeing at the same time. Your habits are shaping your future right now, whether you like it or not. The crazy thing is how small habits really are. Nobody ruins their life in one day. Nobody builds a legendary life in one day either. It's the daily stuff that compounds. One workout doesn't change your body. One healthy meal doesn't transform your health. One focused work session doesn't build a career. But do those things consistently, and suddenly you're living a completely different life. That's the power most people underestimate, because they're addicted to instant results. Discipline gets a bad reputation, like it's some miserable punishment reserved for people who hate fun. In reality, discipline is freedom. It's the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Daily discipline isn't about forcing yourself to suffer. It's about setting up habits that carry you forward, even on days when motivation is dead. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. Habits stay. There's a story that plays out in millions of lives. Someone gets fired up after watching a motivational video or hearing a powerful speech. They promise themselves this time is different. They wake up early for a week, eat clean, hit the gym, grind hard, and then life happens. Stress hits, energy drops, old habits sneak back in. Soon enough, they're right back where they started. Except now they feel worse because they think they failed again. The truth is they didn't fail. They just tried to rely on motivation instead of systems. Habits are systems. They don't care how you feel. They don't argue with you. Once installed, they run automatically. That's why bad habits are so hard to break and good habits feel so hard to build at first. Your brain resists change because change costs energy. But here's the part nobody tells you enough. Once a good habit becomes automatic, it actually gives you energy instead of draining it. Waking up early stops feeling painful. Working out becomes stress relief. Focused work feels satisfying. You don't fight yourself anymore. Most people wait for confidence before they take action, but confidence is built through habit, not the other way around. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, your self-trust grows. Every time you break a promise to yourself, it shrinks. That's why habits aren't just about productivity or success. They're about identity. You become what you repeatedly do. If you act disciplined, you start seeing yourself as disciplined. If you act consistent, you start believing you're consistent. Identity follows action. Daily discipline isn't about perfection. It's about showing up even when the vibe is off. It's about doing the boring stuff on the days when nobody's clapping. Most people quit not because things are hard, but because results are slow. They don't realize they're in the middle of the process, where the work is invisible. Like going to the gym, you don't see muscle after 1 week, but your body is already changing beneath the surface. Habits work the same way. Progress is happening even when you can't see it yet. One of the biggest lies modern culture sells is that you should always feel inspired. Real growth doesn't feel inspiring most of the time. It feels repetitive. It feels unsexy. It feels like doing the same small things over and over again while trusting that it'll pay off. That's why so many people stay average. Average feels comfortable. Discipline feels uncomfortable at first. But comfort is expensive in the long run. And discipline is cheap when you practice it daily. Look at anyone you admire. Athletes, entrepreneurs, creators, leaders. You won't find magic. You'll find routines. You'll find habits stacked on top of habits. Early mornings. Consistent practice. Intentional rest. Focused effort. They're not superhuman. They just committed to systems that support their goals instead of sabotaging them. The gap between you and them isn't talent. It's consistency. Your environment plays a huge role in your habits, whether you like it or not. If junk food is always within reach, eating healthy becomes a daily battle. If your phone is always in your hand, focus becomes rare. If the people around you normalize laziness or negativity, discipline feels weird. Changing habits isn't just about willpower. It's about design. Make good habits easy and bad habits hard. Set your life up to win. Instead of relying on strength, you won't always have. The power of habit shows up strongest on your worst days. Anyone can be disciplined when life is good. The real test is when you're tired, stressed, bored, or emotional. That's when habits take over. If your default response to stress is scrolling, procrastinating, or quitting, that's what you'll do. If your default response is movement, reflection, or focused work, you'll stay on track even when things get heavy. Habits decide how you respond to life, not just how you plan it. People love talking about changing their life, but they avoid changing their daily routine. That's like wanting a new destination while driving the same road every day. Your routine is your life in disguise. What you do every morning, every evening, and in between adds up fast. Change the routine and the life follows. Ignore it and nothing changes no matter how badly you want it to. There's power in starting small, even when your ego wants big moves. Reading 1 page a day beats reading 0. Walking 10 minutes beats sitting all day. Writing 1 paragraph beats waiting for the perfect time. Small habits lower resistance. They make consistency possible. Once consistency is there, growth becomes inevitable. People fail because they try to transform overnight instead of evolve daily. The brain loves streaks. Once you build a habit for a few weeks, breaking it feels worse than continuing it. That's momentum, and it's priceless. The hardest part is always the beginning, when everything feels forced and unnatural. But push through that phase, and the habit starts pulling you forward instead of you pushing it. That's when life starts to feel lighter, not heavier. The power of habit is also the power of forgiveness. Missing 1 day doesn't ruin anything. Quitting does. Too many people let 1 bad day turn into a bad week, then a bad month, then a bad year. Discipline isn't about never slipping. It's about getting back on track fast. You don't need a perfect record. You need a resilient mindset. At some point, you realize nobody is coming to save you. No perfect moment. No magical motivation. No external push. That realization can feel heavy, but it's also empowering. Because if habits built your current life, habits can rebuild it. You don't need to change everything. You just need to change something, then repeat it until it sticks. Every habit you build is a vote for the future version of you. Every habit you ignore is a vote for staying the same. Over time, those votes add up. One day you wake up and realize you're stronger, sharper, calmer, and more confident than you used to be. Not because of luck, but because you stayed disciplined when it mattered. This is where the shift happens. When discipline stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like self-respect. When habits stop being chores and start being proof that you're serious about your life. When you stop waiting for motivation and start moving anyway. That's when everything begins to change.